Researchers at Harvard University looked into America's drinking water to see whether or not there are unsafe levels of unregulated chemicals in our tap water. And what they found was, unsurprisingly, of course there is. Now, they specifically looked at the type of chemical that's used in Teflon pans, and that chemical has been linked to some serious issues, health issues that we'll get to in just a second. But it's referred to as PFAS. PFAS are a class of chemicals that have been used for decades to coat fabric or food packaging and to manufacture firefighting foams and Teflon pans. Now mostly phased out in the U.S., PFAS went unregulated and were often disposed in watersheds. These chemicals are persistent in the environment and have been linked to adverse health effects in animals, also to humans. Now, millions of Americans are suffering, or I shouldn't say suffering yet, but millions of Americans are consuming this chemical through their drinking water, okay? As many as 6 million Americans are exposed to this. In humans, PFAS have been linked to a wide range of illnesses, including birth defects, cancer, and immune system dysfunction.
Oh, that's all?
Amazing, amazing. 6 million Americans we live in the richest country in the world, right? The most productive country in the world. And this is what we get in our tap water right now.
No, we can't afford to fix it, Anna. We're too busy spending over $1 trillion on a war we should have never started. So, no, we don't have money for education. We don't have money for your kids to have clean drinking water. We got to go spend it on war. Priorities.
By the way, so Harvard did this analysis using EPA data. And so, look, this is why it's important to have a government agency keeping tabs on, the types of chemicals that might be in our water and all that stuff. But what also amazes me is how people don't understand how the lack of regulation leads to us consuming unsafe products, whether it be our drinking water or the food that we eat, right? So 75%, by the way, 75% of public water systems that exceeded PFAS federally recommended safety levels were found in 13 states. That includes Alabama, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Minnesota, Massachusetts, New Jersey, North Carolina, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And again, I think this is a gigantic story. 6 million Americans are exposed to this chemical that could lead to serious health issues, but no one's talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I want to go back to your point on the environmental regulations. So Donald Trump yesterday gave a speech where he promised a moratorium on all regulations. So you want to regulate Wall Street so they don't take crazy risks and ruin the economy? Sorry.
No regulations.
No regulations. You want to help the people in Flint, Michigan get safe drinking water, and you've got a new idea on how you can do that, but it involves regulating the water companies? Nope, sorry, no new regulations. You want to get this crazy stuff out of your water so your kids don't get cancer and all these different things? Sorry, no new regulations. Because this is how stupid people think. Mm-hmm. They think, no, it's a black and white world. I don't do nuance. I don't ask, hey, what's the issue and how do we best fix it? I just go, okay, we do regulations or we don't do regulations. Okay, I'm going to say no regulations.
If I had a magic wand, I would say no regulations.
Yeah.
That's a Bush quote. Not an exact quote. But anyway, but it's interesting because the GOP, the right wing to be specific, has taken government involvement and really twisted it. Because what they argue is that the government should have the smallest role possible. And when they talk about that, they're specifically talking about regulations that keep us safe. The whole point of having a government is to keep the country safe, right? Keep us safe in the food we eat, the water we drink, make sure that our national security is intact. It is not the role of the government to get involved in our bedroom. It's not the role of the government to tell us what we can and can't do with our bodies. Yet the GOP is the party that continuously fights for regulations regarding our uterus, regulations regarding who we can marry. For a long time, regulations of, where we can have sex. Can we have sex, anally or orally? No, government's not in favor of that. And again, that was something pushed by Republicans.
It's not even in the past. Ken Cuccinelli, who ran for governor of Virginia in the last race in Virginia, wanted to pass anti-sodomy laws and was defending them. Even though he knows that they're unconstitutional. Anti-sodomy is not just anal, it's also oral sex. He would have forbidden oral sex in the state of Virginia if he became governor. Again, it would have been unconstitutional, so he wouldn't have won, but he's still fighting that fight. So, but he says, no, I won't let you get blowjobs, and I'm going to stop you from having different kinds of sex that I disagree with. But if you want to protect your kids from toxins in the water and poisons in the water, nope, won't let you do that. That's regulations, and I'm against all regulations. And understand why they do it. It's just greed. Their donors are giant corporations, and corporations don't want any new regulations. That's a pain in their ass. That would cost them an extra couple of bucks. And so if it means you get poison in your water, you get poison in your water. But they made a couple, they privatized the gains and they socialized the losses.
Yep.
So it's your loss, not their loss. It's not their kids. Their kids are going to be perfectly fine. So, and the Republicans are there to help them by saying, nope, no new regulations. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter how unsafe things are. Oh, you got a problem with maybe the food supply? I'm sorry, no new regulations. Hey, look, the cattle industry's got to make its money.
Look, experts quoted, in this piece say that, you can mitigate some of the impact of these chemicals by filtering your water. There are water filtration things that you can buy at, your local store. I don't know how much it really helps, but if that's something that could contribute to safer drinking water, please use it. Never drink the water straight out of the tap, because unfortunately we're now living in a country where we have unsafe drinking water.
Look, I live in those states. I live in California. My parents are in New Jersey. I go to Florida and Pennsylvania all the time. And I used to drink tap water. Now, apparently, we're not supposed to drink the tap water because we're a third world country, because we let our oligarchs run this whole place. And they run it to their profit and our loss. So understand what's happening here. We got to all get together and fight back. And it doesn't mean that we go to extremes. It doesn't mean that we go, okay, now we're going to regulate everything. I know that that's how conservatives think. Since they live in a black and white world, their fantasy of liberals is like, we're like, what can we needlessly regulate? Why the hell would I want my taxpayer money going to needlessly regulate things that we don't need to regulate? Why would I want overregulation? If the EPA says, their scientists say, hey, let's make it up, 25 parts in a trillion, it's safe. Yeah, it's in there, but it doesn't affect it. We've tested it. It doesn't affect humans. Okay, then it's safe.
Yeah.
So they're going to figure out what's safe and what's not safe, and then we should regulate just that much, not more and not less. You're not a member of the Young Turks yet?
Come on, come on.
Now, when you join up, we're going to say,
oh, yeah, yeah.
We might even say,
There you go, baby. There you go.
be the independent media, be the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.